decade in the wilderness. How'd we ever come to this? Took all we had to just survive. No time left for asking why. St. Virginia saved your life. An angel and a kitchen knife. Yeah, when the devil tests your will, but you kill who you have to kill. God loves a madman, but I owe his patience through. It's too much to ask of anyone. I could never be as strong as you. I could never be as strong as you. And all we are is vanity. Comics playing tragedy. And I traded in my sanity for a dream that soon abandoned me. God loves a madman, but I wore his patience through. It's too much to ask of anyone. I could never be as strong as you. I could never be as strong as you. Walls and barricades surround our golden age. We will return someday. We will return. Walls and barricades surround our golden age. We will return someday.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live in-person and live Zoom worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Our opening hymn this morning is number 128, For All That Is Our Life, from the gray hymnal, Feel Free to Rise or Sing as the Spirit Moves You. Now, please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing number 128, For All That Is Our Life.
For all that is alive, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use, to build the common good, and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is our gift, which we are called to use, to build the common good, and make our own days glad.
Thank you for joining us here in person, and thank you for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue live streaming and posting these services on our YouTube channel for our virtual attendees. I'm Gibson Haynes, a member of the Environmental and Social Justice Committee, and I will be your worship associate today. Members of the worship committee who make this service possible include Alec Peck, our music coordinator, Adam Wedeking, who monitors our visual and online connections, and Kate Lewicki, who is in charge of our sound system. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. Tomorrow is Labor Day, celebrated on the first Monday of September to honor and recognize the American labor movement and the works and contributions of the laborers to the development and achievements in the United States. We enter this meeting house of hope for equality. May those who labor to survive live to know justice. We enter this meeting house of love and vocation. May our bonds of solidarity be strengthened. We enter this meeting house of courage and friendship. May we proceed hand in hand toward freedom. Before we move into the service, there are a few announcements we would like to share. We will mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide with all of this information, and it is also available on our website. Please note that today is the last week that we meet on summer schedule. Beginning next week on September 7th, our services will go back to starting at 10 a.m. First Sunday luncheons will also resume on September 7th following the service. Join us next week after the service for the first Sunday luncheon. The theme will be sandwiches. Please see Grace or Avery if you would like to contribute something to this meal. Donations are welcome and will be applied to the church fund. Women's Federation is an intergenerational group open to all who identify as a woman. This is a welcoming community that supports the UUCR and shares personal, social, and cultural issues important to women today. If you are interested in joining, please see Grace to be included on the email list. Meetings are held on the second Saturdays of the month at 1 p.m. We will launch the new season on September 13th at Kate's house. The address will be posted in the email. Each September, when summer ends and members come back to our regular Sunday services, we share in the UU tradition called Water Communion. During this in-gathering service, each member pours a little water representing a summer experience into a large shared bowl. We also share the meaning of the experience. This co-mingling of our water and the experiences is our water communion. We invite you to join in celebrating the life-giving spirit of water by bringing your own samples of water that represent something meaningful to you. The ceremony will be held at the service on Sunday, September 14th. Our time together is brief, but it is filled with joy. In that spirit, I invite you to turn to those around you, greet them, welcome them, and share that joy. For those on Zoom, you can use the Zoom wave gesture or just wave at your camera. Welcome to all our visitors today, and welcome back to our old friends. We would love to meet you during the coffee hour in the parish hall after the service, where you can also find our visitors book. Please leave your name before we leave so that we know you were here, and leave your contact information if you want updates on church events. There will also be a short discussion after the service to share your reflections with us. For those online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. And now I invite you to sit back and take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. You are welcome to read with me the covenant of our church, our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to live in harmony with all the living creatures and plants of the earth. This we do affirm. Today's sermon was written by Reverend Dr. David Breeden. Reverend Dr. David Breeden is a senior minister at First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis. He has an MFA in poetry from the Writers' Workshop at the University of Iowa, a PhD from the a PhD from the Center for Writers at the University of Southern Mississippi, and a Master's of Divinity from Meadville Lombard Theological School in Chicago. Breeden serves on the board of the UU Humanist Association and is the chair of the Education Committee of the American Humanist Association. He regularly blogs on humanism and free thought and has published poetry, novels, and theological writings. In 2022, 37.9 million people, or 11.5% of the nation's population, lived below the official poverty level. According to the US Census Bureau, 6.4 million were among the working poor in 2022. The working poor are people who spent at least 27 weeks in the labor force, that is, working or looking for work, but whose incomes still fell below the official poverty level. The most effective anti-poverty program this nation has ever had is its labor unions. They help workers get paid fairly for a day's work, some measure of safety in the workplace, a health plan, provision for overtime pay, and a pension plan. Reverend Breeden's message is personal, relating how his father's union membership enabled his family to escape poverty and attain some of the benefits of the American dream. The principles of Unitarian Universalism call us to action. We can fight here for the worth and dignity of every person. We can fight here for justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. We have two lightings of sacred flames. The first is a remembrance candle for the indigenous people who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. We remember that we live off the unceded land of several indigenous peoples, including the Kalhua, the Luiseño, the Serrano, the Tongva, and the Cupeño, and others. We light this sacred flame in their remembrance and in recognition of their ongoing struggle for freedom and dignity. Do I say something?
I already put it.
Oh, it's already lit?
Yep, sorry.
Sorry about that. Our second sacred flame is our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We are blessed with this space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Today's chalice lighting words are by Paul Dalzell. On this Sunday before Labor Day, we light this flame to honor all work. Not only the work we do for pay with our hands, our backs, and our minds, that is important, yes, but also the work we do for love. The work we do to help others stay alive and belong instead of being outcasts. The work we do to ensure people are paid fairly, work reasonable hours, and have quality in their lives. The work we do caring for the young, the old, the infirm. The work we do to mentor, to educate, to advocate, and to enrich the community, the country, and the world. We honor all the labors that support our worlds and all the work we do to make this a better place. Our hymn now is 1020, Wo Ya Ya, from the Teal hymnal. Feel free to rise or sing as the Spirit moves you. Now please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 1020, pardon me.
We will gather
This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may contribute by PayPal using the QR code, which is shown here, as well as on the church website and in the newsletter. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater grocery cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. You get the full value, and the church also receives a percentage for free. Please see Dina Rowe or Robert Braun in the church office if you are interested in purchasing the gift cards. Please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works best for you. Thank you for your generosity to those who give their time and their talent. Thank you for your generous care and attention. To all of you who have joined us here today, thank you for the gift of your presence. Will our ushers now please come forward to receive the collection? A tote bag will also be passed around to collect food and hygiene items for our local community. Our next hymn is number 402, From You I Receive, from the gray hymnal, Feel Free to Rise or Sing as the Spirit Moves You. Now please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 402, From You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
This is the part of the service where we center and ground ourselves in the present moment. We invite you to take a moment to sit back, relax, and if you wish, gently close your eyes. Our meditation today is by Christopher Boyce. Make us instruments of your peace. Where there is indifference, may we bring justice. Where there is selfishness, may we bring equity. Where there is stagnation, may we bring transformation. Where there is homogeny, may we bring pluralism. Where there is isolation, may we bring interdependence. Where there is greed, may we bring generosity. And where there is hatred, may we bring love. Make us instruments of your peace with love at the center of everything we do. Now let us pause for a moment of silence and reflection. Now, I would like to introduce Alec Peck reading the sermon, Putting Labor Back in Labor Day by David Breeden. This is a pre-written sermon taken from the UUA website.
Thank you, Gibson. Yes, this is Putting Labor Back in Labor Day, and that was by Reverend David Breeden. In 1935, a U.S. government truck pulled up to my grandfather's house, a two-room sharecropper shack in which 16 people lived. They were starving to death, not malnutrition, starvation. The truck brought surplus food, which on that particular visit consisted of a gallon of mustard. My father was 11 years old at the time. He and his sisters and brothers thus became the first generation of children raised on what came to be known as welfare. I come from a long line of poor people, part of what has come to be known as the incorrigible poor. That first delivery proved to be a harbinger of things to come. These were subsistence farmers. None of them had ever seen mustard. They thought it must be what rich folks eat, so they ate it. It made them incredibly ill, so they decided the government must be out to poison them. When we tell the story of 19th century immigration, we tend to neglect mentioning that nearly 50% of the people who moved to this country left and went back home. Then there's my family. When they got here, they wanted to go back home, but they couldn't. No money. I'm reminded of discussions about the Katrina victims in New Orleans. Why didn't they just go to an ATM and get some money? Good question. Why aren't poor people grateful for their mustard? Goes great on roast beef. My forebears should have just gotten themselves a home equity loan and gone back. But somehow they forgot to do that. Many of you in this room may have similar stories, whether you know it or not. And so 3 generations after arriving in this nation, the family was starving in a 2-room shack. My father was one of 13 children. Of that group, 3 eventually escaped poverty. How did 3 of them escape? My father was able to join a labor union, and 2 of my aunts married men who were able to join labor unions. The rest of those children died in the poverty that they had been born into. I think about the mathematics of my family, and I can't help question the line about this being a land of opportunity. It seems, at least for poor people, more like a land of random chance. Their children, my first cousins, and at one time I had 64 cousins before death started weeding them out. My cousins, for the most part, remained in the welfare system. I was, 3 generations later, and still am, the only one from that family ever to complete a college degree. Random chance. My father did not try harder or work harder than his brothers and sisters. I haven't tried harder or worked harder than my cousins. Yet I am the only one to have ever had a salary, I'm the only one to have ever had a salaried rather than an hourly job. I didn't try harder or work harder to become an English professor or teach college classes. They were working 2 and 3 jobs. Yet almost all of them will die poorer than they were born. Random chance, except for unions. That's a little anecdote about what works and what doesn't. It's a little story about how working people need unions. The most effective anti-poverty program ever in the United States. The rest is just handing out mustard. Why talk about poverty when you can talk about the good old days and the golden age? Some of my first memories are the bitter cold when my father marched on the picket line. Mom and Dad got worried sometimes in December. They hoped there wouldn't be a strike that year, but there usually was. And Dad's paycheck stopped. There was a strike fund that paid those who walked the picket line, so Dad walked the picket line. And my father made extra money tearing down old fences and old houses that provided firewood to burn in 55-gallon drums so that the picketers could stay warm. I loved tearing down houses as a kid. Sometimes the strikes lasted for weeks, sometimes months, one time for 2 years. This was the 1960s, the golden age of American labor unions. And my father was indeed fortunate to have a union job, a job that provided a living wage, some measure of safety in the workplace, a health plan, provision for overtime pay, and a pension plan. Well, it wasn't that great. We still had to count potatoes to make sure we could eat all week. But unlike both of my parents when they were kids, I never went hungry. That was the golden age of American labor. Yet sometimes we forget that those unions were mostly Euro-American male institutions. For the most part, those unions addressed one American disease, the oppression of working class Euro-American males. Racism and sexism would have to wait. My mother worked in a factory the same year my father did, a shirt factory, non-union. All the bosses were men. All the workers were women. My mother, too, theoretically, worked 8 hours a day, but she worked on a quota system. She had to sew 12 dozen shirts a day. It was an assembly line. She sewed the collars. 12 dozen a day. That pace meant no lunch break, no water break, no restroom break, only under the direst of circumstances. The only times those women got to rest on company pay was when they sewed their hands into the machines. Something that happened fairly often given the fatigue of the workers. My mother got no overtime pay, no health benefits, no pension. My mother lives today in constant pain, barely able to walk due to the damage to her vertebrae on the job. She gets no disability payment, and the company that perpetuated those crimes has moved operations to Burma, where a military regime can guarantee that no unionization will take place. And another generation of women will end up just like my mom. Yet despite the continued oppression, my parents did work in the golden age of American labor. Two people who grew up in abject poverty were able to own a car and a house. The American dream. We were able to eat, and unlike my 64 cousins, I was able to work my way through college. I benefited from the golden age of American labor. I wish I could say those were the bad old days. Yet what my parents and I accomplished is even harder today. Those were not the good old days, and yet it was still as good as it has ever got. The American labor movement, made nominally legal by the Roosevelt administration in the 1930s and mostly illegal by the Reagan government in the 1980s, is the best anti-poverty initiative in the United States history. Demographically speaking, many Unitarian Universalist baby boomers are much like me, with working class parents who benefited from rising union-sponsored wages. We got educations, and the jobs our parents spent their lives doing got outsourced. Unions work because they go to the root of the poverty problem. Instead of handing out gallon jars of mustard, they help human beings get paid fairly for a day's work. That seldom happens today. Between 1979 and 2001, the earnings of the top 20% of Americans raised by 50%. The earnings of the bottom 20% didn't change at all. Today, the average CEO makes more money in 3 hours than a person making base wage will make in a year. Each year for the past decade, 20,000 workers have been fired for talking about unionization. Ronald Reagan said, "We fought a war on poverty, and poverty won." I say, so we declared a war on drugs, and drugs won. So we declared a war on terrorism. Gallons and gallons of mustard. Someone is making money on mustard. In the face of the tragic meltdown of the political process here in the United States, in the face of media utterly unconcerned with the issues of justice and equity, the religious voice appears to me to be one of the last holdouts against forces such as neoliberal hypercapitalism and globalization. To paraphrase Marx Horkheimer, without the totally other, in the end, materialism triumphs. Without the totally other, in the end, greed triumphs. Without the totally other, in the end, the powerful win. Without the totally other, the one with the pistol gets the pesos. We have a different message. The inherent worth and dignity of every person. The use of justice, equity, and compassion in our human relations. The anti-religious tone of much 20th century pro-labor rhetoric based on Marx's contention that religion is the opiate of the people, designed to keep us enslaved to the oppressive social systems, did a great deal of damage to labor movement in the United States because the right could use the label of godless communists for just about any proposal for social justice. I agree with Joe Hill that the long-haired preacher was out to keep the working class in their place. Religion has been, and looking at George W. Bush and the religious right, it still is complicit in social evil. Fortunately, the conditions that largely silenced progressive religious thought have changed, both because the Soviet Union is long gone and China is now a model capitalist state because some churches have come to a new understanding that decent jobs are not only a civil right, but also a moral responsibility of the church. In the 1840s, when the Universalist minister Aidan Ballou became convinced that the message of Jesus was a socialist and pacifist message, he left the Universalist Church and became a Unitarian. In 1905, when Father Thomas J. Haggerty helped found the Industrial Workers of the World, he was defrocked by the church. Another Catholic and another member of the Industrial Workers of the World, Dorothy Day, remained Catholic, no matter what the church said about her or what she was doing. The legacy of her Catholic workers movement probably helps more distressed human beings every day than any organization in the world. Despite repeated attempts, she is being refused sainthood. We Unitarian Universalists have a different message: a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Just as history judges the complicity of churches with racial prejudice, history will judge liberal religions from our time according to response to the right of the working poor. Unitarian Universalists were on the side of justice during the civil rights movement of the 1960s. We need to clearly get on the side of justice for the civil rights issues of our time. Martin Luther King Jr. preached about a trinity of evil: racial hatred, poverty, and war. Dr. King went a long way in fighting the first of those evils. But today, poverty and war are alive and thriving. It is easy to create and maintain a third world economy. It is not so easy to create a fair and equitable economy. I work with a union called Unite Here, a union that represents hotel workers. Allow me to mention some of the people I've gotten to know. Steve Jones works at the Chicago Marriott Downtown and the Hotel Monaco. He works 40 hours a week at the Marriott. He works 40 hours a week at the Hotel Monaco. He parks the cars, 2 jobs, 80 hours a week. He is poor. Marcela Reyes has a husband and 3 kids. She works at the W, one of the fanciest hotels in downtown Chicago. Miss Reyes has worked there for 12 years. She makes $9.25 an hour. She works 8 hours a day, just like my mother worked 8 hours a day, wink, wink. On her shift, Miss Reyes must clean 18 rooms, no matter how long it takes. And if nobody calls in, and that's if nobody calls in sick. Miss Reyes looks to me like she weighs about 90 pounds. She has to lift Sealy post-perpetic king-size mattresses all by herself. Someday she's going to be just like my mother, unable to walk. Marcela Reyes is poor. The most effective anti-poverty program this nation ever has had is labor unions. The rest is passing out mustard. Pay Miss Reyes and Mr. Jones a fair living wage and they won't be poor. Neither will their kids. And maybe those kids can get some education. This is a way to sow the seeds of worth and dignity. This is the way of justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Unions are one of the few hopes for poor working people in the United States and the world. My father's job was portable. It's gone now. My mother's job was portable, and it's gone now. Corporations are citizens of the world. People live in nation states. But some jobs are not portable. We have work to do right here at home. 80% of the jobs in North America today are service sector jobs. These are jobs that have never been unionized. But guess what? Steve Joneses cannot be moved to China. Hotels with their fancy mattresses, 4-star restaurants and their napkins to be folded, those cannot be outsourced. We can fight here for the worth and dignity of every person. We can fight here for justice, equity, and compassion. 37 million working Americans live in poverty. Poor people stop being poor when they get a fair wage. Inherent worth and dignity. Equity. Reflect on this. In the United States today, the average Euro-American has a net worth of $80,000. The average Hispano-American has a net worth of $8,000. That's a whole decimal point less. The average Afro-American has a net worth of $6,000. We can complete Dr. King's work on the racial injustice issued by fighting the other two evils that he named. Poverty and war are issues of equity. Dorothy Day knew that when she worked with the poor, she was entertaining angels. The Dalai Lama has said, dangerous consequences will follow when politicians and rulers forget moral principles. When we believe in God or karma, ethics is the foundation of whether we believe in God or karma, ethics is the foundation of every religion. And so our politicians have forgotten moral principles. And so dangerous consequences are following. And so the principles of Unitarian Universalism call us to action. Take action. Join UUCR. Join UUSC, the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, and get information about the Wage Justice Initiative. Join with the UUJEC, the Unitarian Universalists, for a just economic community, and learn more about what justice and equity can mean in action. Donate to the work of Unite Here. March with striking workers. When you stay in a hotel, ask the management if the staff is unionized. And when the minimum wage bill comes back to Congress this fall, insist that a raise in the minimum wage is not tied to a reduction in estate taxes, so that 27 million Americans are not held hostage by the richest 8,000 Americans. We have a message for this nation and this world. The inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in our human relations. So may it be, and may it be so. Namaste, Amen, and blessed be.
Outstanding, thank you. Now we're going to do our closing hymn. It's number 121, We'll Build a Land, from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to rise or sing as the Spirit moves you. Now please rise in body or spirit and joining us in singing number 121, We'll Build a Land. Our work has just begun. The work of holding one another and this community in love. The work of trusting that we are on the right path. The work of believing that what connects us is stronger than what separates us. The work of engaging in that which makes us whole. The work of deeper understanding and commitment. The work of letting go of that which does not serve us. The work of radical inclusion. The work of collective liberation. The work of this beloved community. A beloved community of which we are all a part. A place where we are welcome, respected, valued, and cherished. A place where we belong. Go in peace. Amen, and blessed be. Thank you, Alec, for sharing your valuable time and delivering the reading for us this morning. It is sincerely appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you again. You are now welcome to adjourn into the parish hall. Is that this Q&A? Okay, sorry about that. We'll have 10 to 15 minutes for discussion following the service for those who wish to share your thoughts and observations on today's topic. Please be aware this will be included on the video that is posted. And for the rest of you, you are now welcome to adjourn into the parish hall. Would anyone like to come up and share their thoughts? Is there anyone online who would like to share anything with us?
My father used to get tearful, actually, when he would recount, and I heard it several times, so I got a little bit tired of it as a child. But he talked about that Joe Hill, the singer, was a little bit too loved, I guess, by the Union movement, and so he was framed and put to death. They asked him for his last words. He said, "Don't mourn for me, organize." As for what I do currently, I'm retired. And so I will be participating in the Indivisible of Riverside demonstration that will be held tomorrow, Monday, 5:30 to 7:30 at University Avenue and Market Street. It's going to be big. It's indivisible demonstrations are always big. So if you want to come out and see people and cheerlead cars, come. You're more than welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Warren. Come on up, Diane.
I just want to say I'm extremely impressed with this message. It's so relevant, so important, and so now important. It's been important all the way through, but especially now. Thank you, Alec, and thank you for giving that to those that are here today. If we have anything to do Let's reach out to others who are not here and spread the message that we received today in a way where we can have a common ground with those we speak with and get a sense of connection, because we're not antagonizing, but we're informing on something that affects us all. So thank you for this message today. It was lovely. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you everyone for being here on this hot summer morning.
I think today's service was very important. I think that unionizing is very important. And on top of that, I feel like it's very American. I was just watching like a video essay about how America was almost socialist. It was so unionized like before the war, like I think it was World War II. And then they pretty much use that to frame unionizing as un-American because our workforce shrank so much from all the people going to war. And I guess just, I don't know, that's crazy to me. I feel like solidarity is important. Like the song like 16 Tons, like that's an American song, and that's fighting for unionization. And I feel like also it's important to not contribute to stores like Starbucks that do union busting, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, KFC, Pepsi. They all contribute to lobby to keep minimum wage low. We should not be going to any of those places. We need to be very conscious about what we're doing with our time, what we're doing with our money. And yeah, we should be advocating for ourselves and our industries. Thank you.
I just want to say that when the driving force is more capital by any means, your boss is going to take the side of capital every time. And they're going to screw you over in every single way that they are allowed to. Every corner that they can cut, they're going to cut it. Whether that be safety harnesses or a pension or whatever it may be. And if you ever see somebody on the side of the road in a picket line, whether it's the nurses at Kaiser, whether it's steelworkers, whether it's Starbucks employees trying to unionize, it might inconvenience you that you can't get your Starbucks coffee or that you can't get your appointment at Kaiser yet. But just remember that you have so much more in common with those striking workers than you do with their boss, or they do with their boss, or you do with your boss. We're all in this together, and try to always show solidarity for other working class people trying to build themselves a better life.
I'll mention that I'm part of a union and proud of that fact. I'm in a union as a graduate student at UC Riverside, but I'm actually part of the American Auto Union, or UAW, Union Auto Workers. And so it turns out they're quite liberal with their definition of who gets to be in the Auto Workers Union, but I'm quite glad for that. And that is the reason why I was able to, we had a strike, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, because most of my co-workers, including myself, were over 50% rent locked with our wages. And there's still work to be done, but a lot of the work that we have been able to do is because of the UAW. So thanks to those guys. Any final comments to finish us off, or anybody online? In that case, before I sweat too much more, let's get a little bit of coffee and then call it a day. Thanks all for being here.